Art is too important not to share. Welcome to the Allie and Callie Artcast.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie. Welcome to the Artcast.
Yes, welcome. How are you, Callie?
I am well. I've survived a beautiful wedding of my son and daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
And my little Selah has the last name Cabe.
Oh,
so very excited. It was a beautiful ceremony at the Blackwell. Lots of tears, you know, lots of little things were crazy, and as any wedding has those little mishaps and things.
Those are the fun things that you remember.
That's right. And there's some great photos coming, so I'm excited to see those.
I can't wait to see them as well.
And then now we got to plan Maddie's wedding.
Yep.
So another wedding on the way. If you've got any ideas on a great spot that's very open for like 100, 130 people tops. I don't think it'll be that big, but just in case. Yeah, shoot me.
You're looking?
Yeah, I'm looking. And I'm, you know, it could be out of the box. All she says is, I don't really want a barn. Not that there's anything wrong with barns or barn venues.
That's right.
Because there's some beautiful ones.
Right.
So we just haven't investigated because we were one wedding down, and we'll work on this one now.
Yeah.
So all is well. And you?
Well, I got to spend the weekend, or at least a day last weekend, with my grandson, Hendrix, and Charlotte, his little sister. And I actually got to spend time with Goldie, their newest, who is now 3 months old.
Already. Gosh.
Yeah.
Time flies.
And she's smiling. And I got to hold her more, which made her feel less like just this little appendage that they carry around.
Right.
And more like a little person coming in.
We always call the first 3 months the blob stage.
The blob stage. I know.
I mean, they're cute, but they're not as cute as when they're like start smiling and they're like really connecting, and yeah, it's very cute. Well, good.
Yeah,
it's fun.
So we went swimming. That was really fun. And they love to swim. And then I, of course, have to play monster trucks with Hendrix because he's all about monster trucks, and he's got like 25 of them.
Oh yeah,
these little trucks that they're all unique, and he knows the name of every single one of them. He cracks me up, and I was so tired when I drove home.
It's exhausting, isn't it? I know, I get it. I play Legos, and not Legos, they're blocks, and we make castles.
Right.
Come on, Grandma, let's make a castle. And then we make it, and she tears it down. And we make it and tear it down.
Right.
Make it.
Yeah, I've been there.
And Play-Doh. Lots of Play-Doh.
Lots of Play-Doh.
Yeah.
We did Play-Doh once. Don't want to do Play-Doh again.
But it's fun.
Yeah. Well, my favorite part was when he said, "Grandma, can I tell you a secret?"
Oh.
And I said, "Yes." And I leaned over and he whispers, "I love you."
I know. Isn't that the best? It's like it comes where you're not asking for it.
Yeah.
It just comes out of the blue.
Unexpectedly.
And you're like, "Oh, thank you so much." Then I cry.
I know.
I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Selah." Yeah. Well, anyway, it's been a good summer so far, so we're excited to we have some more time, and I just want to get out on the water. I've only been out once. Have you been out on the water?
No, I've been in the pool.
In the pool. Well,
but I am inspired to get out on the water after reading this amazing book. Yes, by our guest, David Kilmer. David, welcome.
Yes, welcome.
We're so happy you're here.
I want to hear something about, what is it? Poop? Let's hear about that.
Yes.
Let's just start in.
Let's start at the bottom.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a real honor to be here. You've had some tremendous folks on your show, and it's great to join the lineup here. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yes, poop is a real thing on boats. And
I was actually thinking of that earlier, that what would your dog do? But I'm sure you're going to tell this story.
Absolutely. Yes. So we sailors like to think of ourselves as standing nobly at the helm with the wind blowing in our hair. And that's not usually the reality. More likely than not, we might be upside down in the bilge trying to fix the marine toilet that has broken yet again. And so, in my first book about my time in the Caribbean, I wrote a chapter called Poop, which it turns out is a real crowd pleaser at the book readings.
That's good. I love it. Does that have anything to do with the poop deck?
Well, yes, it does. The poop deck is where they went poop, it turns out.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's the thing.
Really?
Awesome.
That is?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Is that where the dog would poop?
It is, yeah. We had a little Jack Russell Terrier that sailed with us for years, and little Sammy was a sweet dog on the boat, very sure-footed, which was great, but never could get her to go to the bathroom on that boat. She just came into it too late. If you started with a puppy and you trained them, they could do okay. Some people would take like a little piece of AstroTurf or something. The dog would go on there. Then you dump that over the side, rinse it off in the ocean, and the dog's done. But no, little Sammy always wanted to go ashore, and so I would do this basically concierge service at any time, day or night. She would look at me, and I'd get in the kayak or on the paddleboard, and I would take her ashore.
Wow.
So
So
that's
what
the
if
life
you
she
were
lived.
out in the open sea?
Yeah, she didn't like that much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to become this sailor? Tell us about that.
Thank you. I would say it started as a wee lad, kind of rambling down the Oregon coast with my parents. And I fell in love with the ocean, but at the same time, I also was completely terrified by the ocean. I think we can all relate to that.
I can totally relate
Absolutely.
And so that contrast has been an interesting thing to follow for me. There I was with my pudgy little hands poking into tide pools and finding these strange little creatures. I didn't know what it all meant. I was kind of trying to gaze out at that mysterious horizon, and that leaves a mark on you. And so that contrast between fascination and fear has been an interesting thing throughout life. And I find that most things really worth chasing in life have had that combination for me.
In reading your book, you have made me fall completely in love with everything that you've done, all the places that you've been and the exciting adventures that you've had, you and your wife, and what a magical experience. You had some terrifying ones too. And that book that is called The Way of a Sailor had me laughing, had me crying at a couple of points. It's really such a good book. I want you to talk a little bit about when you fell in love with sailing with your friend.
Yes, Gartley. Yes.
Gartley.
Yeah, he was the Pied Piper behind all of this stuff. So my dad took me sailing when I was a kid. Thank you for your kind words about the book, by the way, and thank you for reading. Yeah, for every independent author in the world, that's a big deal. We're trying to get you one at a time.
Right.
And please leave a review.
Absolutely.
I will.
That's right.
Right? Yeah, one reader at a time. So Dad took us sailing. Our parents were very good at getting us out on adventures. We lived a very adventurous life growing up. And so there's always that wondering what's over the horizon. That was very much a part of my childhood on road trips and so on. But then, yes, you're right. Out of university, a very good friend of mine gave me an invitation, and I went on a sailboat ride. And to be honest, I went because I didn't know any better. Had I known what would happen, chances are I might not have taken that ride. But it was the most raw and genuine experience that I had ever had. And it absolutely changed my life.
And it wasn't just a little, let's go on a day cruise.
Yeah, where did you go?
Open ocean, Pacific Ocean, from Mexico to Hilo, Hawaii.
Jeez.
So 2 young men, 21 days in a small boat on the open ocean.
How
And-
old were you?
25.
Wow.
That's like
That's very brave.
yeah, that's like a nightmare for me.
Yeah.
Like the open ocean, I think. I mean, I don't like water that I mean, I like it. I think it's beautiful, but I'm definitely afraid of not seeing the bottom.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very shared fear. And I would tell you that I have that fear, and I talk about that in the book. The first time that you can't see land, and you have this kind of strange realization that the only thing below you is, that the bottom land is thousands and thousands of feet below.
Yeah.
And it's all just water. And it's a strange vertigo that you kind of have to talk yourself through, otherwise you'd go crazy.
Right.
But there's a great quote, and my books are full of quotes because I collect them. I just love great quotes, and I think all of us that read love those things. But Hunter S. Thompson once said, "Buy the ticket, take the ride."
Yeah.
And I love that quote. And I have tried to live by that advice whenever possible. I can tell you that some of the rides would have been better off not taken, but you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know till you go.
That's right.
And you get off the ride.
Right.
You're like, well, I might have skipped that one, but
Yep.
oh well.
That's the truth.
But
You
I'm
lived
still
it.
alive.
I lived through it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You had one story in your book about having a pretty narrow escape from possibly drowning when you went to save Sammy.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is where sailing has this sort of dreamy beauty about it, but then there is an absolute reality. So you could be watching dolphins play, and you might be run aground on the reef the next moment. And there's really nothing between those highs and lows.
Right.
That's something that I came to dread, but also to love. Sometimes I think that in life, we take the poop with the poetry. We take the pain with the joy.
Yeah.
Because we don't get one without the other. We don't get to choose in this human life. So there we were sailing quite blissfully along. Rebecca was fishing, as she loves to do. And Sammy lunged for the fish. And it all happened pretty quickly after that. But Sammy went in the water. We're all dog lovers. We understand what it's like to see that little face looking at you. And as a captain, I've always told people, don't go in the water to save someone. We're going to do it from the boat. Well, I broke my own rules without even thinking about it, and I jumped in. The boat was pretty stationary at that time, but once I got my hands out and got my arm around Sammy, I looked up, and to my absolute horror, the sails filled with wind, and that boat took off.
And you're like, oh boy.
No life jacket, no line, just me and the dog, and Rebecca's horrified face looking back at me. And what's really interesting is my first reaction was I said to her in very strong language, which I'm not going to use on your show, you come back and get me. And she always laughs about that. She's like, what else was I going to do?
Right.
But the only thing I had was my voice.
Right.
And so I was just like very clear about, and I knew she knew how to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's challenging, but eventually she was able to get the boat back.
Wow.
And that woman, with her own strong biceps and her own reflexes, and her instinct for survival, saved my life.
Yeah.
No, it's an incredible story.
She pulled me out of the water. But as all of you know that have had near misses, that first breath of air feels pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And that fish dinner that night tastes really good. And you're looking over at the dog like, you owe me. And Rebecca's looking at me like, you owe me.
Right. You have one life down. All right.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. For all your screen printing needs, trust the local you can count on. Pyramid Printing has been a Coeur d'Alene favorite for over 2 decades.
Specializing in screen printing, embroidery, signs, banners, and stickers. For all jobs, big and small, just give Eric a call.
Email us at info@pyramidprintingcda.com or give us a call at 208-664-0254.
PyramidPrintingCDA.com.
Greetings, listeners of the Alley and Callie Artcast podcasts. This is Jason from Tubbs Coffee Roasters. Keeping art alive and culture relevant is the heart and soul of our community of creatives. And as a local coffee roaster who loves a good origin story of a painter or a farmer or a musician, we proudly support the Alley and Callie's Artcast podcast's expansion and exploration through positive conversation. So grab a cup of coffee, preferably one from Tubbs Coffee Roasters, and tune in, humans. Your ears will thank you.
What I love about your book are the descriptions. They take me right there, which is amazing. Even your really bougie trip to Paris. I'm like, I really want to do that too. But so now I really want to read your first book, which is A Peril to Myself and Others. And what inspired you to run off to the Caribbean?
I've always craved direct experience with the natural elements, with fellow creatures, with the world around me. And at that time, life was getting a little stagnant. I was in my early 30s, working at a corporate job, and the sea was calling. There's no other way to describe it. I started having these very vivid boat dreams at night, where I was like standing on the bow of a boat, looking at blue water every night. Never really had a reoccurring dream before or since, and that was my signal that I needed to go.
Right.
So I basically took a giant leap of faith and got a one-way plane ticket and went somewhere where I might possibly have a job. And I had to immerse myself in this experience and learn how to be a boat captain. Mm-hmm. And I've never had a job before since it was so close to the bone, so full of raw sensation, terror, pleasure, beauty all around you. But things can change at any minute.
Right.
And that's the nature of the tale.
Let's hear about the Grenadines.
Yeah, let's hear about the Grenadines.
It's a beautiful part of the world.
Where exactly is it?
Yes, so it's north of Grenada and south of St. Lucia. They call it the Windward Islands. It's all in that big curve of islands kind of sticking out like a thumb. It's all the way down at the bottom of the thumb.
Okay.
And the farthest east.
Okay.
Here's a group, and they're just like little jewels. And we would just take guests from one island to the other. And that was my office for 5 years, every winter. And Rebecca and I lived on the island of Bequia, which is our favorite island there, and got married on the beach there. The experiences in the book really follow just from this very direct encounter with an absolutely beautiful part of the world. I did have a choice, and this would be my advice to your readers who are contemplating something like this of their own type. I had a choice to go to the BVI, which is kind of a safer cruising ground, and by safe I mean short distances, flat water, little bit easier deal.
What does BVI stand for?
The British Virgin Islands.
Oh, okay.
Equally gorgeous, equally a sailor's paradise. But I kind of went for the wild place, and I'm glad I did. That was my reward.
The one thing that I keep coming back to is, all of these great adventures that you've had, and you're gone for sometimes months at a time. How do you support yourself? How do you make money to make this happen?
What's been great for me is I've basically had two parallel careers in life, and I practice those to this day here in beautiful Coeur d'Alene. One is writing, and one is essentially running boats. And those two things really complement each other pretty well, I've found, because one is very physical, very exposed. When you're running boats, the weather has the last say. Yeah. Rebecca will tell you, I get up and check the weather first thing every morning, and I check it before I go to bed at night, because that's the whole game, and you're never going to beat Mother Nature. I've been out in the beautiful Sizzler trying to race a thunderstorm across Lake Coeur d'Alene. Guess what?
It won.
It won.
The storm won every time. So don't do that, kids.
Right.
But to answer your great question, those two things have played very well together in my life. And so I will write till I can't write anymore, and then I get to go and play on boats for a while, and vice versa. And writing is, as you know, a very singular experience where you're just creating your own little world. It's very different from running a boat, where you are at the mercy of everything out there, and you're in a real world situation. When you're running boats, you can never call in sick. There's no one else to run the thing. You can't, there's nowhere to run and hide. You can't turn tail. You got to deal with whatever comes your way. So a very different world, and those things have been a lot of fun for me. And I would say to your listeners that if anybody's kind of looking for their calling or maybe a new calling, somebody gave me some advice a while back, which has worked beautifully for me, which is take two things that you really care about, in my case, boats and stories, and trace those things until you find the intersection of them. And that's your sweet spot. That's the place where you want to hang out. You can get better at that than anybody around you. And you're going to love the whole thing, because now not only do you have one passion, but you have two.
Right.
And it strikes me that you folks are doing that here on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Arts and culture.
Just call us those silly girls.
I love what you do.
Yeah, we do too. We love it.
Yeah.
So I read that your writing is I haven't had the chance to read it yet. I bought the book, but I've read some reviews of your writing is very visceral and emotional. So how do you approach blending your language is very poetic and connecting it to this real life experience? To me, what I've just seen so far, I read a book a long time ago called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And it's kind of finding something very simple in life, and it's very philosophical, tied to something you love and something very spiritual to me. And
Wow.
I can't wait to read it, and I feel like I need to read this right now. So tell us, how do you connect the emotional, and how do you want your readers to feel when they read your book?
Well, I think you've said it wonderfully. I really do. I couldn't ask for more than that. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You for saying that.
And I haven't even read it yet.
I think some good advice for all of us in the storytelling business is, something I think a journalism teacher told me long ago, which is get out of the way of the story. And every time you do that, it's a better story.
Right.
And sometimes when you know something's wrong, like Jess Walter said the other night, there's a rock in your shoe. If you just step back and you find that you are in the way of the story. So what I realized writing this book was I got in my own way multiple times in multiple drafts. I wrote several dozen drafts of this thing, and before I was satisfied with the result. And what I realized every time was if I got down to the essence of the story, the islands are so pure. The people that I met are so incredible. Nature at her worst and best is such an amazing thing that tell that.
Well, in a little bit, I want you to read some passages from your book, but I picked out one little one that I want to share this because I laughed all the way through this.
Oh, good.
A little bit.
Good.
And it is, our dinghy upgrade was a used Aqua Pro aluminum bottom RIB, nicknamed Libertini. Powered with an 8-horse, 2-stroke Mercury, it promised to make fast and dry surf landings and provisioning runs. We used the main halyard to hoist the outboard and the spinnaker halyard to haul the ultralight dinghy onto the foredeck. We also created our own bimini, supported by the Dodger and twin backstays. And I'm like, I have no idea what any of that is.
I know.
That's good.
I knew that one. And dinghy's a little boat.
Yeah, I knew the dinghy.
Oh, that's good. There should be like a translator.
Yeah, we need words.
Comes with the book.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm having to Google everything.
That's funny.
Oh, that's really good.
That's good. So now, next book.
Yeah.
Yes,
In the
yes.
back, little asterisks.
Here's
Find out.
what these words mean.
That's
Oh,
good.
that's great.
It's like sailing has its own language.
It does. Yeah, it very much does.
Have you ever sailed, Allie?
A little bit, but was with a guy for a while who was he wanted to sail the world. And so he decided to make a sailboat out of his canoe. And the first time we took the canoe out, it flipped us over because it's not a sailboat.
No.
And it
Yeah.
scared me.
Yeah.
And I think
That-
from that
you're like,
then on, I love the whole idea of it. It's just scary, and I want to be out with somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the only other time that I was able to go on a sailboat was actually in Seattle. We were in, what is the lake there? Washington Lake?
There's
There's
Lake
Lake
Union.
Lake Union.
We were in Lake
Yeah.
Union, and we got to go through the locks out into the Sound.
Oh.
And that was really cool. And we sailed over to the island that has, it's like a
Might have gone.
tribal
Yeah.
island,
Yeah.
where you can go and experience some of the tribal, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds
I
like a
don't know
great
what I'm
trip.
talking-
Yeah.
It was a great trip, and we were with somebody that knew what they were
Yeah.
doing.
I've only
Not on a canoe with
No,
a sail.
no.
A way too big sail.
Yeah.
I've only sailed once on a catamaran in the South Pacific when I was with the USO doing the DoD trip near Guam, and it was amazing and I'm afraid of water, but I was like, I had a confident sailor, captain, so I felt safe. And I had a life jacket on, and I had my friends with me who were my co-performers, and I said, if we go, you're saving me because I will die out here. I'm afraid. And we saw sea turtles. We saw
cool.
so many beautiful things, and I got over the fear. I just did it. We didn't luckily capsize or anything, but it was kind of like a little hurdle that I got over, but
Right.
I haven't been on a sailboat since. And I guess is a catamaran, it's sailing.
It's
It's just
absolutely.
not a traditional sailboat,
No,
I guess.
it's all sailing.
Yeah,
And
but
you had a great time.
I did. I loved it.
Overcame that fear.
I overcame that. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm still scared of the ocean
Yeah.
a little bit, but I loved it. So tell us more. What's one of your favorite places you've ever sailed?
Wow. Well, I'm glad you asked because we were guests on a friend's boat, but one of the places that keeps kind of coming back and haunting you in the best of ways is Rebecca and I were able to sail the Amalfi Coast.
I read about that.
Yes.
I was just there a couple years ago.
And I'm happy to say that we're going to do a presentation at the Coeur d'Alene Public Library.
Oh, good.
Yes, on August 26th, which is a Tuesday night. So we're going to talk about that sailing trip to the Amalfi Coast. We're going to read some things from the book.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and Allie, as you know, we described that trip in some detail.
That's the bougie trip I
so
was
that's the
talking
bougie
about.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait.
In fact, at some point, and I put this in the story, there was a line that was kind of sitting on deck, and I just, by complete instinct, went to coil it up, and a crew member instantly kind of touched my arm and said, "Sir, we'll take care of that for you. But would you like a drink?" It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
You're like, well...
Would you like a snack? Do you want a nap? Do you want the helmet? They just want to take care of you.
You're like, oh, all right.
Yeah, and so as I put in the story, the thing that you realize about being a guest on a boat like that, on a proper luxury yacht, is you just have to go with it.
Just let
you
them
have
do
to
it.
dress nice for dinner.
Yes.
You have to maybe tell a good joke or two and just get into this real casual frame of mind for those 8 days, and then you turn around and the boat goes away, and then you're kind of back in real life looking after yourself again. That's the hard part.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
Right.
Just like flying privately, which our friends flew us back privately, and the next time you go flying for real, it's a
You're like, wow.
dramatically different experience.
Yeah,
Remember
for
that
sure.
one time? Yeah. What are their names? What are their friends' names? No.
So lots of great adventures on boats. I'm so grateful for this life and what it's brought me. And I'm grateful for the Hagedorns and the boat that they own here on Lake Coeur d'Alene.
Are you still
I'm
sailing that boat?
I am. So I'm working as we speak. I'm on call all summer long. Yeah, that's
Because I know
been a
that
great
the
day.
Hagedorn Corporation has been really generous about donating that boat to nonprofits to help them raise money. And
Yes.
I
Over the years, we believe that we've raised almost $2 million into the community
wow.
That's incredible.
with that boat.
Wow.
That's great.
So that feels good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if you ever, I know I wouldn't be worth an extra hand, but if you ever just need, like somebody to serve drinks or something,
That's right.
I'd be happy. We would be there.
We could do that.
All right. On the Sizzler. I like it.
Yeah,
I could do that.
absolutely. For all your screen printing needs, trust the local you can count on. Pyramid Printing has been a Coeur d'Alene favorite for over 2 decades.
Specializing in screen printing, embroidery, signs, banners, and stickers. For all jobs, big and small, just give Eric a call.
Email us at info@pyramidprintingcda.com or give us a call at 208-664-0254.
PyramidPrintingCDA.com.
Ever feel like work and life are pulling you in opposite directions?
You are not alone. That's why we created Thrive, Learn, Connect, a podcast where personal growth meets professional success.
Each week, we share real conversations, insights, and actionable takeaways to help you navigate life and work with more ease, joy, and purpose.
Whether it's managing stress, building better relationships, or finding balance, we are here to help you thrive.
Listen to Thrive, Learn, Connect wherever you get your podcasts, because growth starts with connection.
I would really love to meet Rebecca because you talk about her a lot in the book, and I want to get her take on a lot of the things that you talk about, a lot of the stories you tell, because I think that would be really interesting. But just kind of elaborate a little bit about your team. I mean, you guys,
She's your
obviously,
co-captain,
yeah,
right?
she's your co-captain in on the boat as well as
Your
in life.
first mate? I don't know.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I mean, you obviously have to be a team to make this work.
Absolutely. You're so right. And yes, co-captain. We were in one of the ports in Central America, and the harbor master was a woman. And instead of putting captain and crew like you would normally put on these customs forms, she put captain and co-capitan. Rebecca said, "Yep, that's it."
Oh, good. Like it.
And we do share that equally, which is pretty uncommon. Lewis and Clark had it on the Lewis and Clark expedition. There wasn't one person who was in charge. They were both equally in charge.
Oh, that's interesting.
Doesn't work all the time.
Yeah.
But Rebecca and I very much share that on the boat and in life. Different strengths, different weaknesses. But the thing is, you ask a great question, because on a small boat, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to go and pout. You're only going to get 36 feet away from the person that you've been fighting
Right.
with. And I'll tell you this, not every relationship can take that strain. So all sailors have been in a port where a boat came flying in. 2 people got off that boat and got in separate cabs to go to separate airplanes.
Oh, boy.
And then a for sale sign went out.
Oh, man.
It happens.
Yeah.
So we went the other direction. Sailing has deepened our relationship in a way that I don't think we ever would have found on land. And part of that is the reliance on each other. Part of that is, and we talked about Rebecca pulling me out of the water.
Right.
She saved my life,
Right.
plain and simple. There's also a sense of what matters and what doesn't matter. And a lot of the stuff that doesn't matter kind of falls away. And so you're left with what counts. And then you have to communicate clearly in order to run a boat well.
Yeah.
And so there's even a chapter in The Way of the Sailor where we talk about the correct way to hand off the helm. You actually call out the heading, and the heading is repeated back and then repeated back again. That way we don't end up on the rocks. And so we've actually adopted that same practice into, okay, so we're doing what? We talk it through again. And so we're both crystal clear on which way we're turning the helm and which way that boat's of our life is going next. That's been a really good lesson for us.
I bet.
Yep.
I should see if my husband will practice
Yeah,
that.
that sounds like good marriage counseling to me.
I know, right?
It works.
I like it. All
works.
right. Take
Let me know how
notes.
that goes.
Okay. Taking notes. We're taking notes. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
And I've just got to say that everybody should be so lucky to have a, lovely Rebecca muse in their life, especially us creative types, because we need that. We need that grounding, and she's very much that, and so much more for me. But somebody to feed your body and your brain, to feed your fragile creative soul, to lift you up when you're feeling down, and also if you get a little manic and start talking about crazy stuff,
Right.
they need to bring you back down to what's reality. Another one of these great quotes is Ray Bradbury, who says, "You must stay drunk on writing so that reality cannot destroy you."
Ooh, I have to think about that one for a minute.
You must stay drunk on writing or anything creative so that reality cannot destroy you. And we ask creative people, whether they're musicians or painters or anything else in the creative arts, to stay in a fragile place away from reality sometimes. And it really does take a muse to almost protect you, to insulate you a little bit from the mundane aspects of life.
Right.
Thanks to Rebecca, I can do exactly that. She keeps our little world running so that I can stay intoxicated on stories and keep on writing and dreaming.
That's great.
So are you still writing for the press? You were writing for the press.
I was. That's how I came to Idaho as a journalist. And I now use that talent for Coeur d'Alene Magazine.
Right.
So
okay.
I've been at the helm of Coeur d'Alene Magazine for almost 30 years now, pretty much since we launched. Those are fun stories. Both of my jobs here, the boat job and the magazine job, get me in front of people like yourselves and in this active and engaged community that we share here. And I'm really grateful for that. I love both of the things that I do and the way they work together.
And we do have a pretty amazing community.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much art. In times like these where we have so much divisiveness, I love the fact that we can get together like on a Monday night dinner and just communicate with people and
support each other.
And
Yes.
we're pretty fortunate, I think.
Well, and you've been a big part of bringing that community together. So thank you both.
You're welcome.
Well, it's our pleasure.
So what would be your advice to other creatives out there to follow your passion or go into writing, go into sailing? What would that advice be?
Yes. And again, thank you for asking. First, I would say take the ride. Put yourself into situations where you're forced to do new things, talk to new people, have new experiences. That's very good for the creative process. Do that first. Second, especially for writers, but for anybody, write it all down. Keep a journal. It's really a great practice for all kinds of reasons, but if you're trying to create, you'll be so happy you did. Grab a shred of conversation that you overheard somewhere. Maybe you shouldn't have been listening to, but you wrote it down anyway. In a voyeuristic way. Any random thought, a dream that you have that you wake up with that won't go away. All of those things matter to the creative process. But I think sometimes we let those run off the roof and into the gutter. But if we can channel that into our garden of creativity, think about all those random things as water, where let's water that garden instead of just letting it go down the storm drain. And writing does that. And third, build yourself a life of creativity. Surround yourself with creative people. And I can't stress this enough, and it's more essential today than ever, is get rid of the unimportant stuff. Dump it. Cut it loose. The unimportant, and I'm sorry to say, people, but more than that, the obligations, certainly the information. There's a lot of information we could just do without as creatives. And so let yourself be bored. When was the last time that any of us were bored? We have this little thing we can just whip out and entertain ourselves with.
Right.
Don't do that. Be bored. Be afraid. Be lonely. That's a powerful thing. Some of the best writing that I've ever done has been when I was very bored and very lonely. And that's actually how both of these books happened. That's how the stories came out. They were there, but I needed to be in that space for me in order to do it.
Sure.
And then when you're lonesome enough, you're going to go and talk to a stranger. And who knows what's going to come out of that.
Right.
We all know Mary Oliver, the brilliant poet who we lost not long ago. And she has a beautiful little poem, Instructions for Living a Life. Have you heard it?
No.
Mary Oliver, Instructions for Living a Life. Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it.
That's it?
That's it. I love
That's
it.
amazing.
That is our mission as creatives, is to do those three things.
I would love for you to read a passage from your book, one of your favorite parts. Would you be willing to do that?
Happy to. This is a chapter from my first sailing book, A Peril to Myself and Others. And this chapter is called Squall. And there's a quote for every one of the chapters, and this one is from Leonard Cohen. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. I saw it out of the corner of my eye, a smudge to windward off the starboard bow, a tiny blemish on the clear horizon. As I sailed on, that squall stayed put, showing constant bearing and decreasing range, all the signs of collision. On an otherwise perfect afternoon, this one thing and I seemed headed straight for each other. I was having a splendid sail. The boat had the bit in her teeth, shaking off the swells and galloping along under full head sail and one reef in the main. I had dropped off my guest the day before, and now it was the captain's turn, this solo romp where I could do just one thing, sail the boat with not one care in the world, shouting and singing into the wind whenever I felt like it. I toyed with the sail plan and balanced the boat until she steered herself perfectly, a joy and satisfaction like nothing else. The squall drifted taller, and now I could smell and feel it, that cool energy of waterfalls and smoke, with every raw molecule beginning to vibrate. Reluctantly, I shortened sail in anticipation of the surge of wind and rain I knew was coming. As a single-handed sailor, one careless slip away from drifting to oblivion on the current, I took the greatest heed and deliberation with each new movement. I felt every muscle and tendon lock into place, the wonder of balance, the tightening and loosening of grip, rough rope and smooth wood, the miracle of motion. But just this once, the wallop never came. Instead, in this strangest of all squalls, something simply opened, and my boat was inside. It was an enormous, shimmering space, and I sailed silently in awe through that big, mysterious room, hearing voices in the wind, seeing rare colors in the mist, and feeling with great precision each warm raindrop that landed on my bare shoulders. For an untold few seconds or hours, I looked directly into the eye of the universe without fear. All the flotsam swirling in my head stood still and stood its rightful place. Everything in the world held together as I sailed right through the center of it all. Then the mists wavered, the sun broke in again, and the spell was over. My one true squall let go and left me to travel on alone, flashing rainbows in its wake. I watched it go and waved my thanks. I raised full sail and steered toward my home island, finding my body moving with a wonderful lightness through the rigging, my hands thrilling to the wheel's pull. I was clear-headed, rinsed from all nonsense, and absolutely alive.
Wow.
That's great.
I love it. You've got a great reading voice. Are you thinking about doing audiobooks?
I'm having some PTSD, as you mentioned. Oh, my goodness. So we got this book out. It was important to get it out in time for the holidays in 2024. And so I was working pretty hard to get The Way of the Sailor done and out the door. And then sweet Rebecca said, hey, you got a great reading voice. You ought to do an audiobook. So how hard could it be, right?
Right.
So I did record it. I have a good mic setup, and I did record it in our closet of all places because if you move the clothes around, it dampens the reverb, and it actually works pretty well. But I'll tell you what, there was a lot of suffering involved, and here's why. Because you've just written this book, and you're questioning a lot of what you just wrote. It's pretty fresh. And then you're in a room stumbling over these lines and going, well, that's not right. Well, it's too late.
It's in print.
Yep. And I actually have myself recorded multiple times saying, hey, dummy, you're not an editor anymore. You're just the dumb talent. Read the line.
Just say the line.
Yeah. Shut up and read the line.
That's great. That is so funny.
And the other thing that happens, of course, is you get these big words that seem so fun and fancy when you are writing the thing.
But then when you say them out loud,
I just got tongue twisted in the worst kind of way, and I'd get stuck on these words, and I just could not say them. And I've got this pretty funny recording that I'll probably play at the next reading of myself just for 2 minutes, just being completely tongue-tied on the easiest of words. And I kind of ramp up to it, and you can feel me coming up.
You're like,
there's
it's
a
coming.
pause. Nope.
Didn't do it.
Missed it.
Oh, man.
That's great.
So
it's in print, though.
It is. It's a pretty great audiobook. It's all right. Yeah, it turned out okay.
Oh, good.
You did
I
it.
only cringe a little when I listen to it. But we did it. We finished the job. We got across the finish
Other people probably wouldn't notice anything. You know?
Right.
We're our own worst critics.
Exactly.
Right?
I was just going to say that. Yep.
Oh, well, this has been great, David. I love that you keep writing and you're doing what you love and you're combining the two together. We should all do that. Well, I think we are.
We are. We just don't get paid.
We just don't get paid. Also, we want to mention the library again. What is the date on that?
Yes, thank you. So it's August the 26th, which is a Tuesday night, and the show starts at 7 p.m. Okay. And we'd love to pack the library. So come on down.
It's in free. The community room, right?
It is. It's in the community room. It's free to the public. It's free admission. Donations to the Library Foundation are certainly encouraged when you show up. But everyone, all are welcome. And really all you have to do is show up and have some fun and vicariously travel the Italian coast together and hear a few stories.
I love it.
Love that.
Should be a fun night.
And I also want to meet Rebecca.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, show up and meet. Rebecca is the star of the show.
There you go.
She doesn't want to admit it.
Okay. And your website is?
My website is wayofthesailor.com. Way of the Sailor. And if you were to Google Captain Kilmer, I will come up in all the places. And I should say that 2 local bookstores in town, the Well-Read Moose, carry my books. And they just started carrying The Way of the Sailor at Mix It Up downtown as well.
Mix It Up Home.
So Mix It Up Home, yes.
Yeah. Well, I definitely encourage people to get The Way of the Sailor. And I'm sure your other one, I just haven't read it yet, but I will, and then I will tell everybody to read that too, I'm sure.
Yes.
Because it's such a good read.
Thank you so much. That's really encouraging to hear. And what I need when you're sitting in a dark room hammering away at a keyboard and nothing works, then these are the words that you rely on. So the reviews I mentioned earlier, we very much rely on those as independent authors. And I did bring you a copy of Peril to Myself and Others, and I'll sign that today. So
Yay! Yay!
Thank you both for reading.
Oh, absolutely.
You bet. We are thrilled that you were here today.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of your show and what you both mean to this community. So thanks for that.
Yeah,
of course.
Thank you.
And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe,
and share. The Allie and Callie Artcast.com.
Allie and Callie Artcast.com, or find us on Facebook at Allie Callie Artcast. Well, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie. And whatever you do today, make sure it's creative.
And go try something new. And maybe a little scary.
The Allie and Callie Artcast is brought to you by Tubbs Coffee Roasters, ethically sourced, locally roasted coffee, and Pyramid Printing and Embroidery, serving customers near and far for over 2 decades.